Hey there, Cam here from Training Tilt. Welcome to this week's episode of Endurance Coaching Business, where we will cover all things business for endurance coaches. It's a continuation of last week. Last week we used an AI assistant, ChatGPT, to help us brainstorm a bunch of content ideas for a niche, so a type of customer that we would really like to have as a customer in our business. And we came up with some ideas that would be useful to that customer so we could share the content online and, as always, to become more known, liked and trusted as a coach, and therefore more likely to get new customers. So this week it's a continuation. So last week we generated a bunch of ideas. This week we're actually going to take one of those ideas and use ChatGPT as a writing assistant to help us out, create an outline, and then actually create each part of a blog post. So just a quick summary of last week. So as I said, we used ChatGPT to come up with content ideas. At first I said, can you help me brainstorm some content topic ideas for my niche? It came back and asked me if I had some extra information, and then I gave it a bit of a prompt about how I want to be coaching middle-aged men who have fallen out of love with fitness, but now in their middle age want to get back into fitness for obviously health reasons. And ChatGPT came up with 20 ideas, and then I wanted to narrow it down a bit because I really wanted to focus in on the transition of someone moving into middle age, realizing that they need to do something about their health and fitness. And I'm a running coach, so I want to help them through there. So I wanted some more specific ideas. So it come back with a bunch of ideas like unveiling the health risks of inactivity in the middle-aged, turning your regrets into motivation, how neglected health can fuel your running journey. So that's a summary of what happened. We ended up with about 40 ideas that we could just bang in a spreadsheet. So great thing about having is all these ideas. When it comes to create the content, often you don't have enough creative juices left just from your everyday work to actually think of good ideas. So you've just got one, you pluck it off the top, and then you go and create your post. And this is where you can really use AI as a bit of a writing assistant just to make it faster, easier, and you end up with way better results, especially if you're not a great writer. So let's jump into that video there, and I'm going to start with the content idea that I chose from the last list that ChatGPT gave me. Just let ChatGPT know that I like one of its ideas, and then I want to carry on and use that. So again, I like to talk to it like a colleague or an employee, just to keep things tracking along nicely and keep it natural. So they're happy. So I'm going to say that I've chosen this one. Just going to copy and paste this back in. So I'm choosing returning to fitness after a break. Detail how to safely and effectively return to fitness after a long break, focusing on specific needs of middle-aged men. So I'm picking this one, just a brief aside, I'm picking this one because this could be something that middle-aged men in your niche that you would like to be your customers might be thinking about, and they might be Googling like how to return to fitness after a break or something like that. So that's why I'm picking that, but that's just an aside. So I'm put that in here. So now ChatGPT should come back with a nice outline for the blog with so it's got each section: introduction, understanding the impact of a fitness break, identifying the challenges, preparing for the journey, creating a safe and effective fitness plan, and tips to staying motivated. It's all good stuff, all good ideas. Yeah, so this is a good idea. So what I would typically do now, I would go through each. So again, you don't just use straight away what ChatGPT gives you, because that's a bit of a formula for failure. You'll end up with something really generic. So what you want to do now is go back and forth with ChatGPT to really refine it and to get it to more about the type of things that you would talk of. So typically now I might go back and tell it that I don't like some of the sections, or something I might say I don't like the idea of preparing for the journey. And then I might say something like, I think it needs a section about thinking about hiring a professional coach toward the end. But then it'll come back, and what it's done here, I was writing all out for him again. I should have been more specific. I could have just said, include the one more section. Okay, so now it has come back and just nicely added. I asked it to add something like this in towards the end, so it's done that nice and well. Put it at number 7. Let's go to some good ideas about that. Discuss the advantages of hiring a professional coach. Explain how a coach can provide personalized training plans, monitor progress, adjust the plan as needed. Discuss how a coach can provide motivation, accountability, and expert advice to prevent injury. So all great things about what it is to hire a coach. So that's awesome. So now you could either take this outline and choose which headings you want. And I typically go and put this in another document like Notion or Google Docs or something there and start working on it. But for the most part, I actually now go back and forth for the sections that I've chosen. I will go back and forth with ChatGPT to actually help me write this out. So again, you want to go back and forth, back and forth. Let's just jump in and say, so you can just say, you can say things like, let's work through each section at a time, starting with the introduction. Can you write it out for me and we can work on it together? That's my spelling mistakes. It's clever enough not to worry about that. Right, so now it's going to write out an introduction for me. So I never just use these as they come out, because I want to put my own tone in it, etc. And some of the things that come out can be quite generic. So it's written out introduction. So you may like it, you may not. So then you just go back and I do things like I like the first part, but not the second. Also, can we use a slightly more casual tone, as I like to be more personal with my readers? All right, so this is just an example of something that you can do. And then you just go back and forth, work hard on each section till you really get it how you like it, and then maybe even how you would have written it yourself. So it's just a much faster way. It's like working with a writer or an editor. So it's writing it out again, much more casual tone. It's left out that second section. So it's just an example, and then you just go through all of the sections, and then finally you would have your fully edited document. But like I was saying, you could just take the outline and then write all the ideas based on its ideas that you gave you, because even in the outline there's points, so you can really just take those points and use your own language, or you can go further if you want and get it to start writing each section, give it feedback until it's just how you like it. So for each section, if I do it this way, I will typically just do a couple of iterations going back and forth to get the tone right or whatever, and then I'll copy and paste it into my Notion or a Google Doc or something, and then I will edit it again to get it to my own liking, my own tone or something. Remove words that I wouldn't use. Definitely don't just copy and paste this into your blog, because you'll end up with an article that doesn't sound like you and isn't necessarily something that you would write. And again, key thing is you need to be an expert on the topic that you're asking it to write about, because it will make mistakes, it will make errors, which will, if you don't read it through and correct things and you're not an expert on those things, you would miss them. But if you're a coach, then you'll pick up on the things that are wrong and then just pull them out, change it or whatever, and make sure it's all accurate. All right, team, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week. But one thing before you go, don't forget, over at Training Tilt, we have everything you need to create, build, grow, and scale your endurance coaching business online. Check it out at trainingtilt.com.